Your life right now, with all of the problems you think you have, is every bit as perfect. But you are striving with might and main, rejecting some or many parts of it. You are buying into the if-then model. That's how you learn to be unhappy. Here's one of the lessons I want you to take away from today. You cannot solve an internal problem with external action. Let me repeat that. You cannot solve an internal lack with external action. But that's what every one of us is striving to do with might and main every day. How many of you want to be happy? Virtually everybody, right? Would it be fair if I said that in some way, shape, fashion, or form, virtually our entire life is a quest to be happy? How many of you are parents here? What do parents want their children to be? Happy, right? When you take surveys, you find that when parents are asked, what do you want your children to be? Happy tops all the other responses combined. So you want to be happy, you want your children to be happy. So let's talk about happiness for a while. And I want you to think, I'm going to give you 30 minutes to think about this. I want you to think about, what do you need to get in order to be happy? And I'll give you 30 seconds to think about that. What do you need to get in order to be happy? When I taught my course at top business schools and did the full-blown version of this exercise, it would take 45 to 50 minutes. And I'd have a flip chart on which I'd note down all the responses. And I always began by putting down 2 responses right in the beginning. And those 2 responses were vast wealth and trophy spouse. Now, vast wealth, in the old days, if you were a millionaire, that was pretty good. In the new days, if you're a millionaire, you feel kind of lower middle class. So we talk about you have the kind of money where you have a mansion where you need a golf cart to get to the dining room, and you have your yachts and private planes, and we'll put that down. And with regard to trophy spouse, I don't know what your ideas of male or female pulchritude are, but whatever it is, that person is your spouse, and he or she is, super intelligent on top of that, and that's your partner. So we've got both of those out. Now, the reason I put that down is those are the 800-pound gorillas in the room, but somehow people are hesitant to recognize them or acknowledge them. So by getting them up there, I save myself a lot of time. So vast wealth and trophy spouse, and it's off. But there are an awful lot of 400-pound chimpanzees floating around. Relaxing leisure, good friends, travel to exotic places, etc., 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 right? And the notion is that if you had them, all of them, or some substantial subset of them, then you will be happy. Wrong. Because that's what our life is. Our life is a quest to be happy by acquisition. And the reason it's wrong is that there is a mental model we have and that we buy into very strongly, which is flat out wrong. Now, those of you who heard me before have certainly heard me speak about mental models. A mental model is a notion we have that this is the way the world works. And there is one particular mental model that we have, and we have very, very, very strongly. And that is the if-then model. I have to get something so I can do something, so I can be something. I have to get a great deal of money so I can travel to exotic places on vacation so I can be happy. I have to be in a relationship so I can have great sex so I can be happy. The if-then model. If this happens, then I will be happy. If I had a bigger apartment, if my boss had a heart attack, if my kid got into Harvard, if my kid got into Harvard and my neighbor's kid didn't make it to any of the Ivies, if this happens, then I will be happy. That's the if-then model. And we've tried it numerous times in our life, and it fails. I thought if I got married, I would be happy. I now recognize I married the wrong person, and I have to extricate myself from it with as little financial damage as possible and marry the right person, and then I will be happy. That's the Hollywood model. Also now increasingly the Bollywood model. No matter how many times it's brought home to us that this model doesn't work, we insist that we put the wrong thing on the if side of the equation. And what we really have to do is put the right side on the if side of the equation, and then we will be happy. It never occurs to us that the model itself is wrong. It's broken. It doesn't work. But we believe so strongly in that we quite literally use it to learn to be unhappy. Because the next concept I'm going to share with you is that there's nothing you have to do or get or be in order to be happy. Let me repeat that. There's nothing you have to do or get or be in order to be happy. Happiness is inbuilt in you. It's part of your DNA. In fact, it's extraordinarily tough for you not to be happy. I'm sure a lot of you are very polite people, but you're thinking, if happiness is by intrinsic nature, how come I am not happy? Well, you're not happy because of what I just outlined. You bought into the if-then model. The if-then model is broken. So, how do you know it's broken? How do you know? Why should you accept anything I say? Don't accept anything I say. Judge it by your own experience. Have you ever been in a situation where you were confronting a scene of such spectacular beauty that it took you outside of yourself to a place of great calm and serenity? Can you remember such maybe a rainbow, a beautiful snow-clad mountain? Yes? Can all of you remember that? Yes. Have you ever wondered why that happened? That happened because somehow, inexplicably, at that instant, you accepted the universe exactly as it was. You didn't want things to be different than they were. You didn't say, that's a beautiful rainbow, but it's way off to one side. If I could move it 200 yards to the right, it would be so much better. Or that beautiful valley, the tree in the foreground is too many crooked branches, and you give me a chainsaw in 20 minutes and I'll fix it. No, the off-center rainbow was fine. The tree with the crooked branches was perfect where it was. And the moment you accepted the universe exactly as it was, you didn't have to do anything to experience the joy that is innate and inherent in you. It kind of welled out and swallowed you up. And you know that's true because you can still remember it all those days, weeks, months, years later. I am suggesting to you that your life right now, with all of the problems you have, your life right now with all of the problems you think you have, is every bit as perfect. But you are striving with might and main, rejecting some or many parts of it. No, that's not the way it's got to be. This is the way it has to be. And as you push hard in this rejection, you're buying into the if-then model. And as I pointed out to you earlier, the if-then model is fundamentally flawed, it's broken, it's wrong, it doesn't work. That's how you